Hi, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, depending on the area in the United States that you're located in. I want to thank you all for joining our Patton webinar, hosted co-part with ABP Technology, and we'll kind of go through a series of specialty around this Virtual SmartNode introduction, and then some use cases of how to apply the Virtual SmartNode device in different scenarios. Today we do have Mark Eberhard, which will be the presenter from Patton, as well as Jennifer Staub with Patton as well, that will go through and do some of the questions and answers that we'll have at the end of this presentation. I definitely want to go ahead now and kind of just give a brief introduction for myself. My name is Melvin Worley. I am the Director of Channel Sales with ABP Technology. And, right here, we kind of more so manage all of the IP communication devices that you will typically buy. Of course, one of our showcase manufacturers would be Patton. And as far as managing that different aspect of ways of connectivity that are not necessarily traditional or unique, that is definitely where Patton kind of stands out and stands apart from a lot of the competition. I'll go ahead now into the next portion, and we'll kind of go through just as far as with Patton devices as well. Patton, so who they are, they're actually a well-known company. They've kind of been they have been within the U.S. since 1984, so they are across multi-nations, and they are still privately held at this point. And they are a leading provider actually for a lot of designing, engineering, manufacturing for any of their voice and data communication solutions. Their actual target as far as I would say solution integrators, MSPs, value-added resellers, and any other kind of CSPs also within the market to actually help allow people transition to enabling all of these different unified communications. And customers that they span is literally, I would say, almost every portion of the globe itself. They've got actually over about 14 offices around the entire world, and then also 7 technical support centers and 3 logistics centers as well. So it makes it very easy for you to receive any of your Patton devices within a timely fashion. So now I will go ahead and hand it off to Mark Eberhard, which will lead the presentation and go through the overview of the Virtual SmartNode and also some of the use cases as well. He will go through just a brief agenda, and then we'll get the webinar started then from there. Go ahead, Mark. You can go ahead and take the floor. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you very much, Melvin, for covering that, and also a very warm welcome from my side to all of you joining this webinar today. I'm happy to have you all here. And yeah, as said, let's just get started with a quick overview of what we're going to cover today. Basically, the topic, Virtual SmartNode, virtualization. So that's going to be the thing. And I'll just walk you through that, explaining, basically what a Virtual SmartNode is, why it is useful, in which cases it can be used, and it provides benefits to you and basically your customers. And then we want to do as well a Q&A at the end of the session. However, feel free to ask any question during the presentation. Just use the tool for that. Type in your question there, and then my colleague Jennifer will be more than happy to bring that question up either during the presentation or, as said, at the end when we're going to do the Q&A. So yeah, I think that's it with what the housekeeping is concerned, and let's just go ahead with starting here what the Virtual SmartNode is, starting with, let's say, switching a few steps back, maybe just covering a little bit on the history. So as most of you know, Patton, what we are doing in terms of solutions and products, basically, it's a piece of hardware called a SmartNode. And the SmartNode is running the Patton OS, the Patton operating system, and that's the so-called SmartNode. What we have done now as a next step in the evolution on the technology side is we took the same operating system, but instead loading it onto our own hardware, we made it run on various hypervisors. And with that, the Virtual SmartNode was born. Now, going into more details of what this Virtual SmartNode is, what it does. So it's basically, as you saw before, the same operating system containing the same features, the same functionalities there, which you can now run, install, and basically operate on any kind of hypervisor there. So just at the bottom of the slide here, you can see the hypervisors we support. So that can be a VirtualBox based infrastructure, it can be a KVM, and as we are working on many kind of things there with Microsoft as well, so you can see the Hyper-V is there as well. And just lately, we've done a first step into Microsoft Azure integration there. So that's basically the new way of hardware where you and basically your customers can benefit in running the Patton OS, the SmartNode, so-called Virtual SmartNode in this case. But why have we come out to the market with a Virtual SmartNode? So it's basically because of how we see from Patton side the digital transformation is progressing these days. So everything is going into virtualization, virtualized hardware, virtualized infrastructure, I should better say. And this has started a few years back already. For instance, if we're looking at the enterprises, so some years ago, there were services all the time coupled with dedicated hardware. So that started to change in a way that virtual servers were installed, so virtual hardware basically, where the application or the service running for the enterprise was not dedicated to a piece of hardware. So there, the whole thing started, and that continues to go like that. And basically, the reasons there are obvious. So it's on one hand, it helps reducing the hardware on the hardware side, hardware costs. So you need less hardware. Still, you can grow in adding new services, adding additional virtual servers onto the same hardware, and that also gives you a savings on the energy cost side of things. Another benefit there is, of course, it allows you or basically your customers, being an operator, for instance, or also the enterprise, launching new services faster, more efficiently. So it's basically said easier to roll out new services. And that goes into the SDN and NFV approach. So they're decoupled from the hardware, that new things can be rolled out faster. And yeah, also more efficiently and with less cost. Along with that, it also allows doing simpler and faster recovery, assuming some issues on the hardware side that can be covered in a way that applications are going to be switched to a different hardware. So high availability is the keyword there, which can be covered with this virtualization transition we are seeing there. So overall, it's a productivity increase because of higher automation of things and standardization, which really provides a lot of benefits. So that's basically the reasons why we said, well, we need to have a product, we need to have an answer to what we see happening in terms of the digital transformation out in the market. Now, switching back to the Virtual SmartNode. So what has the Virtual SmartNode to offer? So it's several features that are there. Some of those you might already know, well, because you've worked previously with smart nodes based on our own hardware. So it's basically the same functionalities that are there. However, how these features can or are going to be used, I'm just going to show you now. So there we have new possibilities, new options on how to utilize those features, and it provides more options in terms of scalability, basically. I'm gonna start with the prime use case, let's say, so the UCaaS hosted and zip trunking use case. Now here on this example, I took the Microsoft Teams because we are now in sort of the final stages in getting the Microsoft Teams certified for our smart nodes. So you're gonna see that coming up soon. Already now we have done several custom projects there in that sense, where the virtual smart node has been used working with teams together, but also the hardware-based smart node. So what the virtual smart node is doing in such a setup, and I tried to draw it in the picture as appropriate as possible. So it can be used for both for hosted or on-premise PBX scenarios, so the UCaaS or the zip trunking. And as you can see on the image there, the virtual smart node running on a Hyper-V, Microsoft hypervisor. So with that, it allows you to either run one instance or multiple instances of this virtual smart node, which allows you to respond to increased needs for additional calls, let's say. If you're talking about the call center, for instance, or an enterprise that suddenly needs more SIP sessions, so that can easily be done with this virtual smart node. And yeah, as said, you can even start additional virtual smart node instances there. How this is being done and managed, you can also see here, everything is done out of the Patton Cloud. The Patton Cloud being a central location, a central platform of managing smart nodes in general. So not just the virtual smart node, but also the regular smart nodes there. And on top of that, it also provides features such as monitoring, call quality monitoring, and so on and so forth. So now for going back to this use case here, what we're doing here for the UCaaS and also the zip trunking, this can be combined with every flavor of IP-PBX there. So we do the zip interoperability, and also while talking about zip interoperability, we do that together with the Microsoft. So some of you may know Microsoft using zip signalization over TCP, and now with Teams, zip over TCP using TLS. And most of the PBX systems are doing the zip signaling over UDP. And here, this is one function the virtual smart node is covering. So it's doing in this way the interop. But there are many other aspects in terms of zip interoperability for which the virtual smart node is the perfect solution. Another item is call quality, service demarcation, monitoring service level agreements you or your customers have towards their clients, basically. And here we have a great solution with the virtual smart node, reporting call statistics, call quality metrics into the Patton Cloud, from where you can really get a nice overview, nice summary, and based on that you can generate reports then for your clients about the call quality of certain clients, or on a whole enterprise covering multiple virtual smart nodes instances. So a lot is possible there. And yeah, even more, and you're going to see it later, what we have there in addition. Good. Then switching to the next use case on what the virtual smart node can be used for. Another use case here is zip trunk aggregation and federation. In this case, we're talking about either larger enterprises or managed service organizations, where the virtual smart node can help them reducing cost in consolidating different zip trunks together on virtual smart nodes and bring them out on a single zip trunk on the other side. So basically, how that looks like is like this. So we have a one-to-one relation between a office, being the customer, going to a zip trunk on the right-hand side, which is managed by the service provider, so one by one, while introducing the virtual smart node here, so we can reduce that, as you can see on the right-hand side, down to one SIP trunk. So in other words, the managed service provider here can aggregate all the different SIP trunks coming from the customer side, so indicated here on the left-hand side in a gray area, together on one or multiple virtual smart node instances, and bring them out to one SIP trunk provider, so which helps reducing cost for such a managed service provider. And of course, on top of that, you still have, or you're still going to get the option in doing additional functionalities managed out of the Patton Cloud, including call quality monitoring in this case, which is really helpful, providing a high quality service to the clients. And even if there is something failing in terms of the quality, the Patton Cloud will shoot an alert early to the operations team or to the tech support team there, so that they can go after finding the problem, why there is bad voice quality happening for a certain client, or it can even be set up in a way that you're going to get an alert for a specific phone facing bad voice quality there. So it's really powerful tool, which again helps providing high quality services for the client. Now, another use case that a virtual smart node can cover is acting as a virtual enterprise router or access router. And also you can see here in the image how this is done, or basically what it does. So it can aggregate different WAN links together. So all these are being aggregated on the virtual smart node. And then on top of that, there are functions available on the virtual smart node to do, for instance, load balancing, failover functionalities in case one WAN link is failing. And yeah, and then the usual functions are available there as well, like virtual smart node acting as a DHCP server, coming along with ACL, covering the security part. We do support IPv6, and because of that, we can also do IPv6 to IPv4 gateway functionalities, which you're going to see later. So everything you'd expect from a access router is there on the virtual smart node as well. Good. Then I'm just going through one use case after the other, and yeah, already now you can see there is many use cases the virtual smart node can cover. So it's really flexible device, powerful device. So this one here, I want to talk about the virtual smart node acting as a VPN server, and especially these days now, with a lot of people working from home, still working from home, this is a great answer to coping with that situation, basically, where the virtual smart node can be set up to terminate VPN tunnels. So the way it works here is that from the remote side, the remote worker being in the home office sets up a VPN tunnel back to the enterprise, so that they're going to have access to the servers running in the enterprise, that they can work on documents, collaborate with each other. So really for the remote workers to be fully integrated in the enterprise, what let's say data and data access is concerned. So this VPN connection then is going to be terminated on the enterprise side on the virtual smart node, whereas the virtual smart node then is bringing the traffic in to the enterprise, providing the access to, as I said, files, for instance, being stored on the enterprise side. And the good thing here is because everything being virtual, so we can easily scale. The way it's done is that the setup is done on a VPN tunnel by tunnel basis. So depending on how many remote workers you have that would like to connect at the same time, having access into the enterprise. the exact number of VPN tunnels you would load onto the Virtual SmartNode, which is done in an easy way out of the Patton Cloud. And with that, you can really scale easy with a few mouse clicks. You can allow additional additional VPN tunnels actually to go onto this specific Virtual SmartNode in case there are more remote workers trying to connect to the enterprise infrastructure. Then the next use case here is the IPv4 to IPv6 network gateway, the one I just mentioned before. So still there are networks running based on IPv4, and more and more there is a need for having access out of these networks into IPv6 based networks, and for that the Virtual SmartNode can also be a perfect solution. And because it is virtual, it allows to be scalable. So if there is more traffic that needs to be handled, so just additional Virtual SmartNode instances can be started, or you can allow more CPU performance for this Virtual SmartNode, or give some more memory. So everything is possible in a quite easy way. Now, yeah, this was basically it from a few use cases that we know of, and there might be more. So I hope that you saw the SmartNode, the Virtual SmartNode being flexible. So it basically adapts to almost every use case there. Now let's go into a bit into the infrastructure part of the Virtual SmartNode there. So where you can run, and I just mentioned it a few minutes before, but again a bit in more detail. So which virtualization systems we support, and then which hypervisor there is, and then which image is to be used. So the image, which is basically the Virtual SmartNode, you can easily get from the Patton webpage. So it's free of charge. Just log in with your username and password for the patton.com webpage, and then from there you can download the Virtual SmartNode image and install it on any of your hypervisors. Then I think I just want to switch to this one here, unless there is any questions in the meanwhile.
Hi, Mark. I do have one question out there right now if you want to answer it.
Sure.
I have an answer or a question from Chris. He says, can we use a central ESPC as an alternative to the NAT pass service for remote device NAT transversal issues?
Not knowing what this service exactly is, but the way I'm understanding the question there is, yes, this is possible. So if there is a issue with NAT traversal, and that's usually a big thing if we're talking about SIP or voice over IP communication, right? Especially when it goes down to the RDP stream, so like one way. Audio is usually the thing you're seeing because there is different IP networks or subnets, right? So for such kind of issues that are being faced on a daily basis, let's say the Virtual SmartNode can play an important role there in not having these issues basically there. So doing let's say the demarcation between two separate network, and with that you can also overcome these NAT or NAPT problems in this case.
All right, perfect. That is all the questions we have right now.
Very good. Seems everything is clear. Wonderful. Then let's move on with a quick demo. So I'm using my virtual box here where I prepared a Virtual SmartNode. So what I'm doing here is I'm starting this Virtual SmartNode instance. You can see there is a new window popping up, and now as a next thing you can see the boot up process of this Virtual SmartNode. Takes a few seconds to start, and then we also gonna see how this one is gonna be checking in on the Patton Cloud, and then from there what kind of options and features we have on the Patton Cloud side. So basically what I just touched before on a high level, we're gonna go into more of the details here. So you saw it takes not a lot of time starting a Virtual SmartNode instance. So you see the boot up time is 28 seconds. So that's quite quickly. And that's, yeah, basically all that needs to be done here. And it can also be automated, of course, with using the different ways of how to access the VirtualBox tool or any other hypervisor. So that can be automated there. So now I'm switching back to my Patton Cloud account. So we can see here on the dashboard, and yeah, it's basically repetition for all of you knowing the Patton Cloud already. Still just quickly would like to go over this one here. So on the dashboard, we see, yeah, basically the map where all my smart nodes are installed. So I'm based or located in the Swiss office of Patton. So that's where all my smart nodes are running. You can see device status down here. Let me move that down, right? Device status here. Which models belong to my organization, basically, the device software that is running on the smart nodes. Now, I would like to see under the devices if my virtual smart node is active, and I see, yes, this one docked in. You can again see where this one is located. You can see how many SIP sessions are allocated to that virtual smart node, and that's the one thing I wanted to quickly show you how that works. Right now there is 100 SIP sessions, and we can easily go back here and switch the this virtual smart node instance from 100 SIP sessions to 10 SIP sessions. So basically one mouse click that I did. Let's go back again to my device list, and then in a few seconds, and you see it already happened. So this device now has 10 SIP sessions. So in a few mouse clicks, even in a few seconds, you can change this device, the virtual smart node, from 10 calls, managing 10 calls at the same time, up to 100 or any number that you would like to have. So it really corresponds or responds to the needs we are seeing coming from the market there, going into the virtualization. And this is really one of the benefits of the whole virtualization there. So it's easily scalable, and it's because of that, it's really cost effective, and because of everything being managed out of the Patton Cloud central portal, which, by the way, also has an API for integration into already existing systems. It helps saving a lot of cost. And yeah, there is not just that, so a lot of more things are there. Still on my virtual smart node here, I can do some custom tags, put in some customer information, customer service ID, for instance, so everything can be put in here. There is information about the underlying hardware, like a serial number that is being generated every time you install a new virtual smart node instance on a hypervisor. There is a possibility of upgrading the software, still everything being done from the Patton Cloud, everything being done from here. So I can select my software build I would like to load. I can either do it now, or I can say, well, let's do it at midnight, or I can choose a custom day, let's say this Sunday at 6:30 in the evening or in the afternoon, and then we can click schedule update, and then you see, well, there is a software update scheduled for Sunday this week. So with that, you can do maintenance in a planned way when it's not affecting your clients. More information is available on the Patton Cloud on what the Virtual SmartNode is concerned. So it's really all the important stuff is in here. You get information on the interfaces, what is there, if your interfaces are up, how much traffic is flowing across these interfaces, and you can go even into more details there. And yeah, you can see on the graphs what happens there in terms of network traffic. Configuration management is here as well, so you can have a look at the currently running configuration. You have access to logs in case there was something going wrong, or you thought there might be something going wrong, so you can check your error logs. File storage is here, so that's useful for provisioning of virtual smart nodes, but also regular smart nodes. So everything in terms of configuration files can be stored in here, which is then going to be pulled if you're doing provisioning of the units. So again, here, this part for the automation, high level of automation, which is also one part of the digital transformation that we are seeing. Full terminal access to that device, and that's helpful if you're getting an alert in case of a call quality that drops, that where this call is being handled by this virtual smart node acting as an SBC, for instance. So then you can easily go in to the device, run some debugs, check the configuration, make changes to the configuration, and things like that. So it's really powerful, providing a lot of functionalities there that are helpful, again, providing high level, high quality of services to the client. Talking about the call quality monitoring, so that's a new feature which we are about to officially launch. So just want to give you a quick preview on how this looks like, basically. So you can go here to your call history tab, where all the calls are being displayed that were done for your whole organization. So that can also cover multiple enterprises if you're acting as a service provider. So we have multi-tenant support on this solution, which allows you to get an overview of all the calls that are happening within all your clients that you're managing. And in case there is something happening, something wrong there, let's see a call where status says failed, you can do a mouse over and can see that it was an invalid number format. There you can click on it. Oops, the device was deleted in the meanwhile. Sorry for that. And well, let's take another example here, if we still have this one here. Okay, so yeah, seems to be the demo effect. Let's just quickly do a refresh here. Let's do that. Oh, so it looks like we have a little problem here. Sorry for that. I will just try to go in the other way around. I really wanted to show you this new feature here. Yeah, so it seems it's temporarily not available. So that's why we still have to do some things there in order to get it up and running once we're gonna launch this. Good. Then yeah, just coming back to the licensing, which is a really powerful tool, especially if you're talking about virtual instances, virtual smart nodes. So the way it works is that there is a license pool that is owned by the organization. So it's either going to be you managing services for your clients, or it's either going to be your client basically in the pool, all the licenses that are available. And then from there, you start creating your device profile. So here I created a few already. So before we were running on Virtual SmartNode full feature profile. So that profile holds different kinds of licenses. So we see the failover and balancing functionality. Maybe you remember the use case I showed where the Virtual SmartNode is acting as a virtual access router, managing different WAN links there, and also providing the failover and balancing. Other feature license that we have is IP routing, quite important for that as well, and some other SIP related features. And here we can see the SIP sessions, and you might spotted this one here, that there is a range being provided. So that range means that the device tries to get sessions within 10 and 100 SIP sessions, depending on how many SIP sessions are available in the pool on one hand, and on the other hand, how many other devices are trying to acquire SIP sessions there. So with that, it tries to balance the whole system in a way that everyone gets as many as possible SIP sessions, so that they're equally distributed among your network. So with that, you don't even have to care about how many SIP sessions you need to assign to each individual customers. But of course, it's also possible to assign a fixed number there. So let's say I just want to do 15 SIP sessions. You just go in here and click save, and then every device using that profile is going to get 15 SIP sessions. So it's basically, it can be done in a way that the profiles would represent certain products that are being sold, or basically services that are being sold to your clients. Let's say SIP trunk with 30 channels, or in this case, SIP trunk with 15 concurrent calls, and then you can easily go from there and assign that to your clients. Good. Okay. Now, yeah, you see, so it immediately switches to this 15 SIP sessions as I just assigned them before. Good. Then let's switch back to the presentation slides.
Mark, I do have a couple questions.
Sure.
So the first, I have two. So the first one is, for Edge Gateway application for end client network, what type of hardware would be recommended to run the hypervisor appliance VM?
Right, that's a very good question. So for that, I would recommend checking the web page or the datasheet we have. So everything is explained there, and all the details technically are listed there. So how many CPUs you need, and how much performance on those CPUs. So everything is available there.
Okay, and the other question is the Patton Cloud distributed geographically by, or to balance and transfer traffic? How does it do this?
Right, so the Patton Cloud is not involved when it goes into live traffic, let's say the SIP calls. So the SIP calls are being handled by the Virtual SmartNode instance that is running on your server farm in your data center. So basically on your client's infrastructure. The Patton Cloud is involved in managing, monitoring these Virtual SmartNode instances. So all the things that you saw me doing before was really the management. So there is a communication channel, a management channel from the Patton Cloud central platform down to every Virtual SmartNode, which really is just for monitoring purposes, managing purposes, and licensing purposes there. So really the high load of traffic in terms of zip calls and RTP traffic that stays on the customer's side and is not going through the Patton Cloud.
So the Patton Cloud is management global?
Right. So it's a platform that is accessible globally. So from any place in the world where there is internet access, so you can get access to your smart nodes through the Patton Cloud. That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
None at this time.
Okay, good. Then let's move on. Okay, then yeah, with all that what you saw there, the different use cases, the Patton Cloud, the management portal. So if you're interested, you can get a free trial for 90 days. So that includes, on one hand, 2 virtual SmartNode instances that you can install. At the same time, you're going to get full access to the Patton Cloud, full featured. So everything included in that free trial for 90 days, which really should give you enough time to play around with the virtual SmartNode and also see where and how it could provide a benefit for you or your clients, basically. So just visit the link here, and of course we're going to distribute the slides after the presentation in a follow-up email. And yeah, that's basically already it from what the official part presentation is concerned. And I'm more than happy to stay here for a few more minutes doing some Q&A here, if in case there is some questions.
Just some offline questions, Mark, that I'll send over to you.
Sure. Okay.
I'll also be emailing everybody the slides to the presentation as requested. We'll also be posting this webinar on our webpage. That will be done in the next couple days. So if you need to go back to it, you can. And Melvin and I also will send you over the link so to make it easy for you to sign up for the 90-day trial.
Wonderful. Great. So if there is no more questions, then yeah, I think we're good to close this session here. And at this point, I would like to say thank you for joining. Thank you for taking the time, listening in, and be more than happy to welcome you again sometime soon for any upcoming webinar that we're going to do there. So just stay tuned there. And at this point, also a big thank you to ABP, our partner there, being on the line here as well. And thanks, Jennifer, for managing the questions.
Right,
Thanks again, Mark and Jen.
Thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.